What screams? You weren't loved by your parents as a child, without saying you weren't loved by your parents as a child? Spending every moment of your waking life, all 20 hours a day of it, overanalyzing everything and everyone for that exact moment they are going to snap and lash out at you. Not knowing how to take a compliment, because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop like, "You're so smart. So why aren't you doing better in school?" It's better to deny the compliment. Feeling a constant need to placate, mediate, intervene, and concede to avoid arguments. You don't like to see other people fighting or for them to be angry at you, so you do your best to make other people happy, to reduce your anxiety. Learning to walk silently, avoid interrupting people, talking softly, and just generally avoid sticking out because you fear that confrontation is the first step to abuse. Doing kind things to people, but being unable to say kind things. Love means providing things like food and shelter and clothes, but not gentle words, because you didn't learn them. Surrounding yourself with toxic friends, because that's normal. Your loved ones are supposed to take advantage of you and be mean, if they follow it up with something equally nice after. Having an abusive or neglectful significant other because you've learned to associate love with being hurt or neglected. You don't deserve constant love all the time from your partner. People hurt you sometimes, but you still love them. Being uncared for when you need to be comforted isn't the worst thing, when negative attention means feeling worse than being alone. Constantly apologizing for basically existing. I was going to say this. I had to apologize to my stepmom for breathing loud, for standing somewhere she just decided she wanted to stand, for not being in a room when she suddenly decided she wanted to tell me something, for needing to eat and sleep and use the bathroom. People would laugh about how they could yell, "Hey, come here!" And the moment I got there I'd apologize first thing. But it was an absolute survival mechanism. I've had 2 girlfriends who were able to cry completely silently. Not just a few tears, but full ugly, bawling your eyes out crying, with absolutely zero noise. The first one I knew about her past, but the second I was completely blindsided. She didn't speak about her past, but had said that other than occasionally arguing with her father she has a good enough childhood. When I saw it, it absolutely sent chills down my spine, and I immediately knew. When I later asked her about it, and mentioned that people only learn that out for quite narrow reasons, the floodgates opened. I learned more about her childhood than I was ready to. They can't mention any achievement without balancing it with a mistake. Your whole family sees you as nothing but a punchline. The only reason you fear them outliving you is that they'd use your funeral as an excuse to humiliate you even further in front of people who actually cared. Yeah, this happened at my best friend's funeral. His childhood was shit. Abusive mother and stepfather. Really messed him up and he took his life. She made a whole show of his funeral and wake. Painted herself a saint and him a broken child. I was shaking with rage the whole time. Oversharing. Not being able to set boundaries. Seeing your phone ringing with your parents' name and having an anxiety attack about answering. Flinching up and closing everything out when someone yells or gets mad at me or something I did. Insecure attachment, both avoidant and anxious. Love and or sex addiction. Constant need of approval by an authority figure. For example, trying to constant please your history teacher. That kind reminds of your dad, so every time he grades you well you feel like you accomplished something. Even though he's just your teacher, not your dad, he won't listen to your problems or be present. He's just grading the tests. Thinking that love equals sex, or love equals money. Stealing. My sister was always told she was too expensive to take care of. Now she literally will steal even if she has money in her pocket. Not being able to self-validate. No one taught you how to be confident and sure of yourself. Poor decision-making. Indecisive. Insecure attachments. Attachment issues. Trust issues. Having a huge void in your life where no matter how much love you receive, it's never enough and you never feel like enough. They said, "I have to love you, but I don't have to like you." I was 7. No activities or visits. Angry adults. When you marry into a family and you completely shut down at family gatherings because you don't know how to insert yourself into conversations because this family actually loves each other. And all you know is that you were told that no one wants to hear about you and they only want to talk about themselves, so you have to be the giving person, but then feeling sad that no one took the time to ask you about yourself. Feeling bad for feeling sad or lonely, but thinking you also deserve it because you must be selfish if you feel negatively about people just not asking about you, even though you put so much effort into talking about them that you know good and well they likely never had the opportunity. Censoring your own art because you had to do that where you grew up. But if someone stumbles upon your art and praises you for it, you freeze up because you have no idea what to do about it. Finding it difficult to believe other people love you, or that if you disagree with them in any way they will stop loving you. Feeling the need to create a false, altered version of events to tell to people, and then realizing that the actual version of events was A, perfectly acceptable, and B, makes more sense than the fabricated version of events. I do that. I omit details because I feel ashamed of those and think people would judge me, probably like my parents did, or like I don't deserve to tell the whole story because I don't deserve the compassion. Or I will talk in the past like, I used to be in depression, when it's the present. My sister has a house and a brand new car, I have a guitar. Anger management issues. When your parents will pay for your older and younger sister's wedding but not yours. Well, apparently, and based in my experience, some things are bad teeth health at very young age. Irresponsible because it was never someone that checked my homework or other responsibilities. Don't knowing how to talk with adults or your own parents. Knowing who is coming and where is that person just with the sound of footsteps or other small details. Trying to find a fatherhood or motherhood relationship with other people, even with friends. Apparently, don't knowing how to take compliments is another sign. And not always, but usually, having lots of things, toys or similar stuff is another sign. Hide emotions and feelings, or eventually don't be able to show them or have difficulties for it. You are lonely and selfish because your parents never were there to help you. Be more mature and rational for your age. And I don't want to continue. I am getting sad while typing this. One thing that I know I did a lot is have an extremely exaggerated personality because of how bad your social anxiety is. You constantly think everyone is judging you, so you have this carefully calculated sort of facade. You seem funny and spontaneous and extroverted, easy to talk to and friendly. Basically, you become that quirky weird kid. You try so hard to be funny and likable, be just weird enough but in a sort of funny way, so that people will like you. Then you get home and are absolutely drained because you really have no social battery but force yourself to have one because that's what your carefully crafted personality calls for. You seem spontaneous and funny but really every move is carefully calculated. I work in schools and I find often kids will purposely get themselves into trouble to get attention from the staff because they're starved for attention at home. Left home and joined the army at 17. Emotional detachment. I learned to cook, clean, and generally take care of myself in a mostly empty house. Constantly feeling like everyone has a problem with you even if you have no reason to believe such thing. I have great roommates, and they're some of my best friends. But at times I feel that they hate me. I know they don't, I have no reason to believe such things, but when I wake up I sometimes believe that my friends absolutely hate me. In response to these emotions I tend to work very hard to try and get them to like me. I'll buy them food, or surprise them with things I know they'll like. It eats away at me, but even more I tend to believe everyone I meet for the first time hates me. Constantly I need people to tell me they're not mad at me. I need to be reassured. It's a dreadful feeling. Acting like a bully as a grown-ass adult. Having trouble asking for basic needs. Having your siblings' sports trophies take up a whole room in the house while your academic awards are left in storage. Fear of commitment or anxiety when things go well. Teenage pregnancy. Constantly putting others down. 1. Having a parental unit tell you multiple times that they never wanted kids. 2. Having them yell at you for not understanding how to do math problems when you're just learning them. 3. Praising themselves for your accomplishments that have nothing to do with them and any hobby or activity is because you take after me. I am so confused. My mom loved me, still does, but so many of these things apply to me. 1. Moving silently. 2. Avoiding conflict. 3. Apologizing for even doing the right thing, the correct thing or otherwise, and always feeling like I have to explain what I did to justify it. 4. Overanalyze and overthink everything. 5. Ruminate on every mistake. Although we both have ADHD, which makes me wonder if that's not part of it all. Yeah, that's still a trauma response. It's just a response to the rest of the world's constantly telling you it didn't love you, rather than your mom. Source: Me Too. What else screams that you had bad parents? Leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.